It's the RadioU podcast for Thursday, July 20th. Always a good time on Thursdays because you know that means Choice Champions. Today we drafted our favorite TV theme songs so you can see which ones we picked. Cast your vote for your favorite of the two of us and also chime in with your favorite TV show theme song. Here's something interesting. Yesterday on the show, we talked about the most dangerous and safest cities to drive in the United States.
Yes, I remember this.
The safest city for drivers in the United States, Green Bay, Wisconsin. If you can count that as a city.
Nobody's really there. You know, it's a smaller city.
It is smaller, but it's
probably
still
safer.
I guess it still counts according to that list. But get this. Today comes out the list of drunkest cities in the United States. And I bet you can sense where this is going. The drunkest city in the United States, also Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Well, that makes sense. That adds up.
How does it add up?
It just means that no one's driving.
You think so? You think there more people than ever, a higher percentage are drinking, but also they're very wise about remembering not to get behind the wheel of a motor vehicle?
If they're the safest city in the U.S. for driving, and they're also the drunkest, that just means that nobody drunk drives and nobody drives at all. Maybe everybody walks everywhere.
Maybe. I don't know how
we haven't even considered that yet.
Walkable Green Bay is. You know what? Maybe
population 107,000.
That's pretty high.
That's small.
It's a city.
It's very small for a city.
What about this? Maybe Green Bay is like just the best city to be an Uber driver. You know, the
Makes
Uber
sense.
is constantly just taxiing people around because they're all too drunk to drive, and meanwhile, you as an Uber driver are reaping the benefits.
It says it's 55 square miles, the city is. It's pretty small. Right on the lake.
So you think everybody just walks?
I don't know that everybody walks, but I just think that maybe
walking, if you're drunk, isn't always easy either.
Safer than driving.
It is safer than driving, typically. And I don't know. I mean, being the safest city to drive in the United States, that doesn't happen by accident.
No.
So they've figured something out there.
Oh, I'm seeing. Ready? I just figured it out.
Oh, you've solved the riddle?
I've got the whole thing figured out here. So I typed in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I typed in like their bars, right?
Uh-huh.
And they're all like right next to each other in like a 1 mile area.
Right by Lambeau Field, probably.
Yeah, probably. I'm trying to find
Maybe that's it. They drink
at the stadium
8 times a year before Packers games, and then obviously the playoff games that they inevitably host. And then they go into the Packers game. They sober up there as the game's going on, and then they're able to leave and go home. Could that be the key?
Yeah, it's a real small area. The city is very condensed. So it makes sense that like 107,000 people, they're just taking Ubers, they're walking around.
That's crazy. I mean, I guess credit to them for being safe, however they choose to go about it. Imagine how safe they'd be if they didn't drink at all.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It'd be like a utopia there.
It would, yeah. Except that it's in Wisconsin, so you'd be freezing.
Yeah, it's cold. They're right on the lake.
I mean, on the lake, though. So I bet you the summers are nice.
Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never live there.
I guess congratulations to Green Bay on being the safest city, even though you're also the drunkest in this great nation.
The safest driving city.
Yeah.
Probably one of the safer ones.
I can't imagine there's a lot of crime in Green Bay either.
I can't imagine
just for
that
some
either.
reason, doesn't feel like a city that'd be crime-ridden. All right. That's interesting. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think we solved it.
We walked ourselves through it.
Yeah, we really did. All right, good show today. We'll catch you next time.
See you guys.
It's the Riot.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on RadioU.
I wanted to ask you, have you seen the Perpetual Stew gal on TikTok? You heard of this?
I'm not a big stew guy on TikTok.
Uh-huh.
Usually soup doesn't make it onto my For You page.
It doesn't, huh?
Not usually.
I would say that's
Not
probably
ever, actually.
for many people, unless they're just really dialed in on cooking. But this is something that's gone viral. It's a woman in New York who is working on a perpetual stew, which is a thing from like medieval times, as in actual medieval times, not like medieval times you go to. In medieval times, they would make perpetual stew, which was a big giant cauldron of stew, and you would put on all the ingredients, start it like simmering or whatever, and then you would never turn off the heat. You'd never take out all of the ingredients, even though you'd at times serve them out and people would eat them, but then you'd always keep replenishing, and so it just keep simmering for days, months. They say it could go for decades.
Makes sense.
And so it keeps adding to the flavor.
Because that was someone's job back in the day.
To just
you were like the perpetual stew group.
Yeah.
That's what your chore was.
Mm-hmm.
Other people were hunting while you were mending the soup.
Hunting and gathering cloves and meat, and then
For the perpetual
stew. But not something that we really do in modern times. But this woman has changed that. She is in New York City, in Brooklyn, I guess, and she has had this perpetual stew at last update simmering for 38 days.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's over a month.
Yeah. It's a long time. There's got to be a lot of flavor in there.
Oh, a ton of flavor.
And so now people are so excited about this. She's having like little parties where she'll go out and let people partake of the stew. She'll also let people come and add ingredients if they want, which is that's an interesting thing to do. But then it got me thinking, if I was to do a perpetual stew, if I was to go, let's say I taste the perpetual stew.
You add something?
I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. Then I add something, but here's what I add. I add something that only I like.
Poison?
No. No. What a horrible thing to say. No, I'd add something that only I like.
Oh, okay,
so that I could have all the stew for myself.
It just sounded like a medieval time thing. I don't know. It seemed like it fit.
I bet you a lot of people died by perpetual stew.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. They probably put like some kind of root in there that didn't belong.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole town perished. I'm sure that happened.
It definitely happened.
In Denmark, it probably did occur. But hopefully that doesn't happen here. This is it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing out of time. It's kind of like if you like take a whole ship, if you have a ship and you take apart piece by piece and every time replace it with a new piece, is it still the same ship?
Oh, it's still the same ship.
Is this still the same stew 38 days later?
It's still the same stew.
Even if it doesn't have the same onions?
I think it's still the same.
It's still
the same base, you know?
And the broth is always there.
It's always the same.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Tiger Woods, famous golfer, he's got his lawsuit from an ex-girlfriend dating back to 2017. It's been dropped, thrown out.
It's over?
It's over.
Really?
Yeah. You know, he used to date a woman named Erica Harmon.
I thought it was Herman.
Herman. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Erica Herman. And she wound up suing him. This is, again, going back to 2017. She wound up suing him, claiming that they had after he broke up with her, that they still had an oral tenancy agreement.
That isn't something that's going to hold up in court, if I'm being honest.
That means that it wasn't written down, but oral, like they had agreed to, they had spoken. It was a spoken agreement. You can keep living in one of Tiger Woods' properties.
Those never hold up in court.
I've
spoken agreements.
I've seen Judge Judy. You put it on paper, or it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
And so she had filed this lawsuit, even though they broke up years ago. She had filed a lawsuit in 2022, late last year, but now she's actually dropped it, and that is because a judge basically said you had an NDA, so this is going to fall under that, the non-disclosure agreement. It all kind of falls together. Plus, you can't the oral tenancy agreement's not a thing. It's not really a thing.
No, like an oral agreement, that means nothing.
Uh-huh.
Like, if me and Hudson made an oral agreement today, I wouldn't follow that.
Yeah.
If we made a bet orally, no way I'm following that.
I'd just say I had my fingers crossed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did we shake on it?
Uh-huh. I was being sarcastic. Even if we shook.
Wouldn't matter to me either.
Yeah. But this woman thought that she had grounds to sue Tiger Woods for $30 million in damages.
That's a crazy amount.
Yeah.
30 mil. But also, she said that apparently she was supposed to be able to live there up to 5 years after they broke up. I mean, now that for Tiger, that's a crazy oral agreement.
Yeah.
For you to tell the girl you're dating or you're married to, yeah, if we end, you can still hang around for 5 years. No chance.
That's like something from a sitcom.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
happen in real life.
That doesn't work. Like, come on. There's no chance he said that. Maybe he did say that.
He might have said it, but he didn't mean it.
He may have said it, but there's no way that he actually was going to go through with that. And did you see the way that she got kicked out of the house?
No. What was that?
She got convinced that they were going on a vacation, so she went to the airport. And then his security said, we're not going on vacation.
And that's how he broke up with her?
That's how she got her out of the house. They'd already broken up.
Oh.
But he wanted
like,
to get her.
Let's still go on a vacation.
Yeah, I know this sounds like a weird relationship anyway, with this whole 5-year thing.
Well,
but
Tiger's known for having healthy relationships, so this is really out of character for him.
I know, exactly. So, obviously an odd way to kick her out. And to think about it too. Imagine thinking you're going on vacay and then all of a sudden you're kicked out of your house.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like a fun
It's still
time.
kind of a vacation.
It is, it's like a new place.
You still get to get away.
Exactly.
That'd be
in a different way.
It'd be a good Southwest commercial.
Yeah, it would.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
You know, today's a huge day in the sports world because today is the first day of the Women's World Cup.
Big day.
It's a big day. In fact, as we speak, the Women's World Cup is already kicked off in New Zealand and Australia. New Zealand already played this morning. They won against Norway, I think it was.
Well, neither of them are really contenders anyway.
Are you? Oh, really? Tell us more.
Say so.
Tell us more, Mr. Women's World Cup expert.
I mean, I know one thing and one thing only.
What's that?
The U.S. defending their back-to-back trophies. And you know we're going to go for a three-peat at trophies. Give me another trophy. I'm ready.
The United States is due for a fall. As far as women's
What a wild thing to say.
Soccer.
Living in the States of the United.
Hey, I've been, if you want to talk about women's U.S. soccer experts, I'm one of them.
Oh,
and
really?
I've been following this team, and I tell you, they're getting a little big for their britches.
You think so?
I think so. I think that they got a lot of unearned confidence. Yeah, we've won a couple World Cups. That was years ago. This is a new stage, a new team, a new time. We can't be walking around like we already won the thing.
Just saying, back-to-back ain't no joke.
No. But this is why I think that it's going to be in the Women's World Cup this year. It's going to be a team that's hungry, a team that wants it.
Which is wild to think.
A team like Canada.
That's a terrible, no chance.
Canada is my pick for the Women's World Cup, in my expert opinion.
That's your pick?
They've got a big game tonight.
That's a wild pick.
Against Nigeria is really going to set the tone for what to expect going forward.
Let's take a look here. Because I'm all with Canada if it's like a realistic. Right now, their betting line. I mean, if you want some dime on your dollar.
Yeah.
Plus 3,000.
Oh, juicy.
Juicy line there.
Juicy.
Plus 3,000. I have a feeling
that's what I like to hear.
Not really a betting favorites there.
No.
It's what I'm getting from that. The United States is who I'm going to take. Plus 225.
Wow.
Look at that.
What a ripoff.
And you say we shouldn't be confident. Vegas is confident in us. Plus 225.
Nobody's
got better odds than that, baby.
They don't build casinos by giving you good odds on the United States.
FIFA World Cup rank.
Women's World Cup.
FIFA World Cup rank number 1. Finish in previous World Cup. Winners. Key star. Alex Morgan.
Yeah, see, that's old news. Alex
Old
Morgan.
news?
Old news.
Don't play me with that.
That's that's a thing of the past. I was thinking, how many women's soccer stars do you think you can name that are actually like in the World Cup?
Ooh. I can name at least 2.
One is Alex Morgan.
I can name 3. I can name 3. I've got Alex Morgan.
Uh-huh.
I've got Megan Rapinoe.
Of
She
course.
playing?
Yeah, she's in it.
There's like a new girl on the U.S. team. Her name's like Sophia Smith. And then there's another one. I don't know if she's...
I can't validate that.
And then I don't know if she's
can't
still...
verify.
I don't know if she's still playing or not.
Mm-hmm.
Carly Lloyd, another U.S. player.
I also can't verify
I'm pretty sure that she used to be on the team.
Second question. All right, you just rattled off 4 names.
I used to be a big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan.
4 years ago?
A couple years ago.
How many do you think you would recognize? Because for me, it's one thing. I could name 3 players. 2 are two of the ones you named, Morgan and Rapinoe.
Yeah.
The other is Christy Sinclair for Canada. But how many would I recognize? 1.
1?
1.
What do you mean?
I know what Megan Rapinoe looks like, and let's be honest, she has a pretty signature look.
She does.
I couldn't.
You wouldn't recognize Alex Morgan?
No.
Really?
Mm-mm.
She's the one who did the teacup celebration.
What is that?
It's like the most famous celebration in all of FIFA World Cup women's history. Do you not? You know women's history?
I know women's history.
After she scored the goal to beat England, she like sipped the tea. It's a pretty big
that's
deal.
offensive.
It's a pretty big deal. It happened years ago when we won the championship. Again, I'd also recognize Carly Lloyd and her. Those are the only 3 I would recognize, though.
All right, we're dialed in. I'm going to recognize a lot more after. Actually, you know what? It's going to be tough to watch it. It's in Australia and New Zealand. The game started like 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So
dang, those aren't good times for us.
Not really.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Now, I have numbers here that show that having kids is more of an old people thing.
Better than being a young person thing.
Yeah, and it's not just Al Pacino and Robert De Niro skewing the numbers. This is a survey from eHarmony that shows that for Gen Z and millennials, which are the people that really would be typically childbearing age at this point, people less and less are sure that they want to have children. Only 56% of Gen Z and millennials in this survey of people on eHarmony are open to having kids or having additional kids, whereas 43% are undecided or they don't want kids.
Well, that makes sense, I think.
Yeah.
Because what's that age group there? Gen Z and millennials.
Millennial probably goes up to actually like 45.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. It's getting up there at this point. But I mean, Gen Z, what is Gen Z? That goes up to like 25 years old, you'd say?
So millennials is technically between 25 and 40.
Uh-huh.
And I assume the Gen Zers 18 to 25.
Yeah.
So people between 18 and 25, 18 and 40.
Yeah.
So pretty much everyone that can have kids.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's almost split down the middle of whether people definitely want kids or want more kids or don't. What do you make of it?
But this is a tough time period to be asking people.
What do you mean?
Because like with inflation,
like
and
in their
everything,
lives or what's going on right now?
What's going on? People can barely even buy a house, let alone have a child.
Uh-huh.
Sounds expensive.
It does.
The first thing that makes me think, sounds like a lot of money.
It's where did I see this number? 28% of people say that the children would impact their independence.
That's true.
Which actually that should be 100%.
That's for sure.
Because a child will definitely impact your independence. But I think what that means is that might be a reason why the 28%, that's the reason why they don't want to have children, is because they want to be able to keep on living their life and they don't want to have a child to be a part of their life.
Travel.
Mm-hmm.
Do whatever you want.
I'll think about jobs.
True.
Your what you are able to do or what you feel comfortable doing or whatever, it completely changes when you got a kid in the equation.
So what are the pros of kids? I'm feeling like there's a lot of cons.
Uh-huh. I'm
looking for pros for children.
They don't have them here in the survey.
Oh, they don't have that?
Yeah.
Dang, eHarmony. Some dating website. They're ready for you to get on a date and get married, but they're not so worried about the whole kids part.
The pros of children. Let's see if we can come up with some. Teach you responsibility.
That's true.
Uh-huh. keeps the family name going, gives you something
To do?
helps you be less selfish.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one. But maybe a lot of people like being selfish, evidently.
Apparently so. At
Yeah.
least 28% do, at least.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it all changes.
I think it's tough, too, because we're looking right. We got a 50-50 split just about. But that means odds are a lot of people that don't want kids are going to wind up with people that do want kids.
And that's how it works.
And who usually wins in that one?
The person who does want kids.
Yeah, I think more times than not. So, I don't know. It's interesting numbers to look at, though. I still think, like, by and large, times are changing. People wanting less kids.
Either way, I don't want any right now.
There's some people complain about that, but then you think going back in time, people had like 18 kids.
Oh,
You
it's
think they
definitely
were
dwindled from that.
Families these days, they only want 4. What's
Yeah.
wrong with them?
What's wrong with these
Yeah.
people? They can't even field a soccer field.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Have you seen the trend of the girl dinner trend?
No.
You haven't seen this?
The girl dinner?
You haven't seen this.
I haven't seen a girl dinner trend.
Do you even watch TikTok?
I'm on there.
I don't think you're on there.
I'm on there.
I think you're lying.
Maybe not as much as you are. It's because, you know
Yeah.
what? I'm looking at this. It's because I don't care about Popeyes. I've
This
told
isn't-
you time and time again, I don't care.
This isn't about Popeyes.
They just opened one near my house. I haven't even went.
Oh,
It's brand spanking
You're going to
new.
love it. You're going to love it.
Let's hear it.
But no, the girl dinner trend is so big on TikTok that even Popeyes is getting involved. First of all, let me explain the girl dinner trend to you. I'm sure for everybody else that's involved, we all know. But the girl dinner trend is basically you put a bunch of small things, small little portions of stuff that would really be a side, probably in most cases. But you just have enough size that you make it into a dinner. And then you kind of just eat it while you watch Gossip Girl or whatever.
Got like carrots and a bagel and I got it.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff that wouldn't ordinarily be a meal. And so Popeyes now has their own girl dinner that you can order, the girl dinner menu, which of course just features all of their side dishes like mac and cheese, Cajun mashed potatoes with Cajun gravy, Cajun fries, coleslaw, that kind of stuff.
Biscuits,
yeah. You can do a girl dinner at Popeyes, which quite honestly is probably the best way to do a girl dinner.
Yeah, it is at Popeyes. I mean, if you're comparing that to eating like an apple and like avocado toast, I think this looks better because you get mashed potatoes and mac and cheese, fries.
Yeah,
just like a bunch of unhealthy stuff, but it's all good. It's all like little things too.
I would have to take issue with you going to Popeyes and not getting a shred of chicken. That would be an egregious mistake. But that said, a girl dinner is a girl dinner, and maybe a girl dinner doesn't have space for chicken.
See, I think about this too because my gal friends, when I'll ask them, like, what have you eaten today? It's always this big surprise for me because I eat a lot, not like in any one time, but just throughout the day. I have a lot of small meals throughout the day, but they're all very nutritious and they all have like a purpose to them. I feel like if I ask like any of my girlfriends, I'm like, what have you eaten today? They'll be like, I had a bowl of soup.
And that's it?
Or I had cereal. The big cereal gals.
Really?
That's like all they've eaten. Or I did avocado toast for lunch. Or I didn't even do lunch. And I did like a bag of chips. A bag of Fritos. And I'm like, how does your body operate? How have you made it this far into the day without passing out? Because if I missed, like right now I'm starving. I need my breakfast. If I didn't eat my breakfast, and then I got to lunch and I had like a small bowl of oatmeal. Like think about like Sydney. She would do like a bowl of oatmeal. Yeah. And that would be like all she would eat. Like I would be freaking out.
I don't know. Our bodies are different.
I guess so. I can't imagine.
I must have a more feminine body because I also...
You are more of a feminine guy.
Yeah, very feminine. And so I can make it hours throughout the day, and it's really helped me now shed some pounds because I can just go from like 4 a.m. until 3 p.m. and not eat anything.
Ooh. I would literally pass out.
Yeah.
There's been days where I've like eaten a small breakfast and then like kind of like skipped lunch here, and I've literally felt like I was gonna pass out. I was like in fear.
Yeah.
And then I had to quickly eat a bagel.
I guess you're just too masculine.
I don't know what it is.
Girl dinner isn't for you.
My body isn't built the same way as yours. I can't just cruise through the day with no food.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Choice champions. You can text in your vote for who you think drafted a better team, and of course, which theme songs you think we missed at 8772 Radio U. My team, I went first to the first pick. I have the SpongeBob theme song as my first pick. Isaiah in at number 2.
I went with Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Mr. Rogers, great choice.
Followed that up with The Simpsons at my second pick.
Mm-hmm. Surprising that you go Mr. Rogers ahead of The Simpsons.
Well, because I wanted to get like Mr. Rogers out there. I knew I could go back to back.
Yeah.
And so I wanted Mr. Rogers out there just because it was my favorite pick of the three.
So it's real symbolic.
Yeah, so Mr. Rogers, then The Simpsons, and then you followed that up with?
I went Stranger Things and then Succession. I went with a little more modern. Interesting that I'd be the modern one and you'd be more of the old school.
The throwback ones. And then I finished it off with a personal favorite, which is Avatar: The Last
Airbender. Which some are saying is not a theme song.
Some are saying is.
Some are saying... I don't think anybody said that.
Yes, they
except
did.
for you.
Matthew said, I say Isaiah wins, especially with the Avatar: The Last Airbender
But he didn't
pick.
say it's a theme song.
But... I mean, he picked it, didn't he? That's all that matters. We're trying to get votes.
He did pick it. All right, let's look at some of the ones. We'll count the votes and the ones we missed. Sheena texted in Game of Thrones. Sheena, I've never watched Game of Thrones. Have you?
Game of Thrones, I haven't seen it, but I want to.
Yeah.
I know it's up my alley, so I'm probably gonna watch it soon. So that's the next series I have on deck.
It's interesting. I don't know if I'd recognize the theme song because there's a lot of shows I've never watched. I know the theme song, the Game of Thrones song. I don't even know it.
I know it's really popular. I know it was one that a lot of people said to consider.
Philip texted in a throwback. Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
It's a good one.
That is good. Your dad has turned against you. He's voting for me and SpongeBob.
Makes sense. Adds up.
Jason Hudson for the win, and he would have added the X-Files. That was a good one. That was one that missed the cut for me. Like, I considered it, strongly considered it. We already addressed Matthew, who's voting for you because of Avatar. Caroline just says, how could you not pick the Addams Family theme song? Such
That's a big one.
Carol, I'll tell you how, because we only had 6 picks total.
Yeah.
That is why. But it was another one that I did think about. Abby, impossible choice between SpongeBob and Mr. Rogers. Hard choice, but Isaiah for maximum nostalgia value.
Now that's a vote for me.
Chad, morning gentlemen. He has a lot that we missed out on. These are all throwbacks. Knight Rider, Airwolf, The Next Generation, and the A-Team. I love the A-Team.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but he's going with you because of The Simpsons. Susanna voted for me because I'm going to win anyways. Was there any others you missed that you were considering?
The only one that I considered as well was The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, just because it's a good theme song.
Yeah, I thought about that one too.
I like the sound of it's so good.
I thought about that.
This is a story all about, like, everybody knows it.
Who
it's
cannot
so good.
sing along when you hear that?
It's so good.
I thought about Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about The Office. I could never do this, but I thought Friends would be a crowd pleaser.
It would have been
easy for me to say, but I couldn't bring myself to give Friends any praise. Emily texted in, Isaiah, you had her screeching when you played the Avatar.
I told you it's good. People like it.
They do like it, but it's not a theme song.
It's a theme song. It's the beginning of the show.
Therefore, you are disqualified, and I have no choice but to declare myself the winner once again.
Of course.
What a great choice, champions.
Add a little Riot to your Instagram feed. Follow @RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
It's prime road trip time, right? This time of year.
Oh, it's prime road trip time.
Let's say you got a long road trip ahead of you. 10 hours, say.
It's a long one.
And you can only listen to one artist on the entire trip. Who's it going to be? You can listen to all their songs, but just one artist.
Well, you got to think.
8772 Radio U. If you've got an instant answer, let us know the one artist you would pick.
Because this isn't like your favorite artist.
Not necessarily.
Because you want something that you can listen to for 10 hours straight.
Not get tired of it. Not get too repetitive.
Maybe somebody that's versatile.
Yeah, that's true. Different styles, different genres they touch on.
Or good road tripping music.
Uh-huh.
And you got to think, if you're and also maybe somebody they could please many.
Oh yeah, in case you're not riding alone.
Yeah, there's probably going to be multiple people in the car with you.
A lot of aspects.
And so there's a lot of things to consider here. Off the top of the dome, when I'm thinking RadioU artists.
Uh-huh.
I think a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
It's always good vibes. And that you can sleep to. People are going to want to sleep.
People are going to want to sleep. You're going to have to turn the volume down a little bit.
I'm thinking 21 Pilots.
21 Pilots. That is good road tripping music.
It is such good road tripping music, and it's gonna please the crowd. Everyone in the car is gonna be cool with that. No one's gonna be upset that they're on, and people can sleep through it because they're always just so like chill, mellow, just kind of like bopping your head along. I think that might be one of the top answers.
21 Pilots is a great answer. We're already getting some good texts coming in. Philip going with RadioU throwback band Newsboys. Now, they've been around for, 30 years at this point, so you got a lot to choose from. And they've had different Actually, I think every single member of the band is pretty much cycled out, so a lot of variety in what you're going to hear as well. Jocelyn texted in Nightbird. That's a good choice.
That's a good choice. Very chill. Very calming.
Definitely. Susanna, House of Heroes. Another band. Pretty long discography from mostly radio.
What now? What are you saying now?
Discography?
Discography?
Yeah, you never heard that before?
I believe that's pronounced discography. And we're not talking about the 70s now. Come on now.
I've heard it both ways. 8772 RadioU text, and I think we're getting so many answers, we got to hit a few more of these coming up next.
Find more Riot content online. riot.radiou.com.
The question is, if you had to do a 10-hour road trip where you could only listen to one artist the entire trip, who would you choose? What artist would you listen to? And we already went through a lot of the kind of variables you'd have to take into account. Are there other people in the car? Does that mean then that you have to pick music that they would be able to sleep through? I said you want a lot of variety, so an artist that has a lot of discography. Think about how many, like you pick an artist with one album, how many times you'd hear that one album in 10 hours. You'd hear it like 20 times.
You would hear it over and over again.
Every song 20 times. Some people would like that. For me, I don't know if I would. So a lot of good text, a lot of good answers coming in. Obviously, a lot of bands that are on RadioU Throwback because they've just been around long enough. Like William, who, I mean, we still play this, but Switchfoot, they've been around 25 years now. 25, 30 years.
Lots of choices.
Believe it or not. So, yeah, that's actually a great choice. Jacob texted in Paper Tongues.
A nice little band.
That's real feel-good stuff, a lot of their music. D texted in Toby Mac from RadioU Throwback, although he's still going strong. And then another artist, Crowder. I'm not sure if we played Crowder here on RadioU or not, but a fine choice, nevertheless. Regina, NF.
Love NF.
Although
my personal favorite.
Yeah, NF is good, but she said she even admits maybe not NF because he could be some of his music a little depressing, to say the least.
Hey, he has some uplifting stuff too.
He does, but that would be a little bit of I feel like I want feel good stuff. So then she says the other option was Skillet, who absolutely has a long discography. For me, I don't know if it has enough variety for me. I feel like it might be a little repetitive. Jeremy, we got another throwback. DC Talk. Sounds like you just flip on. You want some good road tripping music. Flip on the RadioU Throwback channel at RadioU.com and on the free RadioU app. You can do that. You said 21 Pilots. You got any other ideas?
See, if I were to pick any, it would be 21 Pilots or NF. Would be my other one because I like NF. I think that when I'm driving my car, I like to be relaxed. I'd like it to be low key, and he keeps it pretty relaxed and low key.
You find NF relaxing?
I find him very relaxing.
I think just he can be so either angry or sad.
Just depends on the album you listen to, I guess.
You go
back to like his Perception album, then that one's a little bit more like sad songs, like love song-ish, and so that one's kind of. But that one would be the first one that I would listen to.
Mike texted in. He says Project 86. That's another band just been around a long time, so a lot of stuff for you to listen to. Rachel doubling down with some other folks on House of Heroes, and we also got Philip doubling down on DC Talk from RadioU Throwback. Here's another throwback band. Sarah texting in Reliant K from RadioU Throwback. Here's my three. I got three. 1, and Berlin. One of my favorite bands of all time.
That's a wild choice.
A lot of their music is a lot of fun. Some of it a little more emotional, but you get a good mix. And
they
they've
do
got
have a good mix.
a long length of stuff for you to listen to. They even have a song called Driving. Then Lecrae, also along those same lines, been around forever. Nene would be proud. And finally,
You're picking Lecrae.
Finally,
That's an underdog pick.
This is my top pick. They just don't have as many songs, but I still think it would be enough to cycle through on a 10-hour road trip. It's Knox Hamilton.
Really? You are a Knox Hamilton.
It doesn't get any more
lover.
feel good than that. I am a Knox Hamilton lover. And you're not, I mean, I'm going to be so happy. Just a smile on your face, rolling down the windows, listening to Knox Hamilton for 10 hours straight.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot. Radio U.
Video that is dividing the internet of a marriage proposal. And almost always a marriage proposal is a happy occasion that is just universally celebrated. But apparently not when it takes place at a college graduation. There's video of a man proposing to his girlfriend as she walks across the stage at Newcastle University in the UK. She's walking across the stage to accept her diploma, and out pops the groom-to-be, I guess, and pops a question. Apparently she says yes, slides the ring onto her finger. The rest is history. The internet not being so kind. What do you make of it?
I think it's pretty bad.
You hate it?
I hate it. I really hate it.
And why is that?
My reasoning B is I'm a fan of celebrations, right?
Uh-huh.
And if I can have as many special days as possible, I want all those special days.
Yeah.
Like, I would never be somebody, I would never want my birthday to also be on a holiday. I want them separate. So this is a day for her to celebrate her hard work. It was already a special day.
Yeah.
And now, he was thinking that since it's already a special day, he would just make it more special.
Mm-hmm.
But in so taking away from her graduation and making it about them getting married and coincidingly, instead of her having two special days, the day that she gets proposed to and the day that she graduates from college, now it's just one big thing. Which you think would be good, it's not good.
Yeah, I'm torn on this because I don't think in and of itself proposing at her graduation ceremony, that's not that big of a deal. Like the actual proposal, I just think the timing of it where, okay, if you graduate, what do you get? You get a graduation party. When you get engaged, what do you get?
An engagement
party. If you're rolling the graduation and engagement into one, then that means you roll the parties into one, and you should be able to have multiple parties. So I think in a way, we're really on the same page. I don't think the proposal is bad. I think the whole situation is a bad situation.
Like, she's literally walking up to get her degree, and he stops her from getting the degree to propose to her. Literally, she's getting two fantastic parts of her life at once, yet again taking away from the more minor one, which, I mean, is it even more minor, graduating from college?
It's pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive, and now it seems like it's nothing because now she's getting married.
Yeah, they're really each overshadowing each other in a way. And forget about how rude it is. Like, actually, this is kind of rude. You know what? I changed my mind. This is rude. Think about all the other people graduating. And what are you supposed to do at a graduation? What do they always tell you before the graduation starts? Please wait to applaud until all the graduates walk across the stage. No hooting and hollering and whatever. Just wait till everybody has had their walk across the stage. And what do people do? Never adhere to that. But this is worse than even the hooting and hollering and the clapping. Way worse to do.
And think about how long it takes. Think about the length of a graduation ceremony, and now old Jim Bob decided he's going to propose in the middle of it. Everybody already is sweating their butt off in this auditorium, and they're ready to get this thing rolling, see their child get their degree and everything. And old boy thinks he has time to propose. Let's just make it all about you, Jimmy. Make it all about you.
Meanwhile, ruining everybody else's graduation ceremony. Something they've worked so hard for.
I'm against it. I'm heavily against it.
And she has to get engaged in like the goofiest outfit that people ever wear. Just to add all. Would
not be her go-to choice.
Yeah, no
Photos are going to look rough.
Yeah, he deserves what he's getting here, I think.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.